Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to retrieve data from multiple tables using the join statement. I'm going to use Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. Now, if you have multiple databases on your SQL Management Studio, anytime you write a query, you need to call that particular database. So I'm going to use a database called SchoolDB. So you write use, then you bring the name of the database, then you execute it. Now, after this, any query that you write will straight go into that database to perform whatever action that you want to perform. So as I said earlier, we are going to learn how to select data from multiple tables in a database. So we are going to use what we call the join statement. Before we do that, let's look at the tables that we are going to retrieve the data or select the data from. We are going to select the data from two tables, that is the student table and the department table. Now, so I'll run it so that we see the data in this table. Now let's look at something. Before you can do that, you must make sure that you have the foreign key constraint implemented in your tables, else you will not be able to do that. I'll make a video on how to create database tables with foreign key constraints. So let me know if you're interested in that video in the comment section. Now, you see that when you come to the department table, this is the department table, we have a column called the department ID. And when you come to the student table, this same column is repeated here. And all of the data here belongs to or are similar here. So we have ID, department ID number 123, and we have 123, 126, and 126 here. So how do you create a join table? We do that by referring to this foreign key and the primary key in the other table to bring this data. So let's look at how to do that. So before we do that, we write our query, that is select. Since we are going to retrieve data, we need to use the select statement. So select. Now we are going to use some abbreviations for the tables. That is the student table, we are going to use S as an abbreviation for it. So you say S dot. So what are the columns that we want to retrieve? We want to retrieve student ID, which is this column, then comma S dot first name. So I'll copy this S dot so that I can easily write S dot last name. Now I want us to join these two tables to form a column called full name. So I just come in the middle here, then I bring my plus, then the single quote, double single quote, then within the single quote I create a space within it. So and then I say, so I'm retrieving first name plus last name as full name. Then I bring my comma, then I say S dot gender, comma S dot email. So I think this data is enough from the student table. Now we are going to add the department name to this table, though we are selecting it from the student table. We are going to join the department table because of this primary key and the foreign key constraint that we've implemented in our table. So I say comma, then I use D to represent my how do we call it, my department table. So I say D dot Yeah, I bring the column that is depth underscore name as department. So this name is not going to show, but rather this one, because I've replaced this with this name. Now, which table are we selecting it from? We are selecting it from the student table, from student, and that's the TBL student. Then I bring this S here, so that you see that right after declaring that this table stands for S, the error that was written here is gone. So there's no column like this. That is why this place is marked. So I'll correct it. Now we do our join. So we are going to join TBL underscore department. Now here comes the course. On, this on stands for, let's say, on the basis that when we go to the student table, that is S, you go to the student table, so S dot department ID is equal to the department D dot, the D dot, okay, so I have to bring the abbreviation for the D as well. So D dot department ID. So we say there is a column in the student table which is called department ID, and its data is related to a column in the department table that is the department ID. So we can add a where statement to limit the data that we want to retrieve. But so I'm going to retrieve all the data, and I want to add something to make this data more readable. So at the department name, I'll add, because only the name will come, I want to add, so let's say plus in this column I say, so let's say it will come as ICT, then I add department. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this course to see our results. Voila. So you see that all the data has been retrieved, and if we had not added this, let's say I'm taking this thing off and I run it again, this department will not be added to this name. So you see it came as ICT, mass ICT, but the moment that you add something like this, so there are so many ways that you go about retrieving data. So you can customize your own, and you see the column that we rephrase as full name, which is the concatenation of the first name and the last name, also came as full name. So there are so many ways to go about it. So this is how to use the join statement. You can add another table to it as well. So I'll add the staff table to this column. Now let's also come here and do that. So I'll come behind the from, I create a space, and I say the staff, let's say I'll do st dot what is the name? Okay, so let me select all from the staff table to see the columns that are in the staff table. So I'll choose the staff name alone, st dot first name, then plus, so I'm concatenating the first name and the last name, plus st dot last name as tutors. So these are the tutors for this particular department. So after this, I also say join TBL underscore staff, and I say st, on the basis that TBL underscore staff or st dot depth That's the department ID. Department ID is equal to d dot department underscore ID. So I have to bring a comma here. Yes. So now if I select it and there is any tutor in the table who has an ID in the department table, it has to bring the data. So I run it, and you see, because there is no related data of staffs in this department or other table, no data came. So let's update the student table and change one of the staff ID. So let's say update tbl underscore staff set dep ID equal 1 2 3, where staff ID equal stf dash 10001. So let me update that column. One row affected, meaning the query has run successfully. So now we have a tutor ID that is in there. So now if I run it, it has to bring the name of the tutors in the table. So all the columns that it brought, it has the same. You see that when we selected the first query without the staff table, we had 3 columns. Now the reason is simple. You see that now, let me read these tables. When you go to these 3 tables, these 2 data, the student ID 1 and the student ID 3, the department ID correspond with that of the staff table, and there is no staff for this department. That is why the student with department ID 002 did not come along with the query. Thank you for watching. If you find this video educative, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye bye.